Good morning to everyone. Dear Professor Agung Darmawan Buhdadi, as a coordinator program for this Bachelor Management study, and dear Professor Gatot Nazir Ahmad as the first supervisor, and Ms. Titis Fatarinah Mahfiro as the second supervisor for this thesis. So I'm going to present for this video is the thesis with the title is The Influence of Business Risk from Size and Risk Management on the Value of Property and Real Estate Sectors Companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange for the 2018 until 2022 period. So actually this is the next this is video for the next chapter for the previous video that I've shown in this video. For my thesis, this is the background, which is in the last 5 years, the property and real estate sector has experienced rapid growth in the various countries around the world. This growth is due to the several factors that including increasing urbanizations, economic development, and demand for residential and commercial properties. As a result of this growth, the property and real estate sectors has become one of the main sectors in the economy that can offer attractive investment opportunities. Property and real estate business is a business or a business activities that carried out by individuals or companies with engaged in the ownerships of real assets or ownership's rights to property in the form of land, which can be used as an asset too. So for the chapter 4, for my thesis, there are results and discussions, which has the six bab for this thesis that including the data descriptions. The second one is statistical analysis of descriptive data. The third one is data results, that results of data processing in research. And the fourth one is the panel data regression equation. The fifth one is the hypothesis test for the results. And the last one is for the discussion. So the first one, for the data descriptions, the data used in this research is based on the annual reports and financial reports of property and real estate sectors companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange from 2018 until 2022. The company's annual reports and the financial reports can be accessed from the company official websites and the official websites of Indonesian Stock Exchange. And this research is use a proposed sample method where the selected samples are adjusted to certain criteria. So for the sample in this thesis, there are companies that registers already registered in the company of property and real estate sectors on the IDX in the 2018 until 2022 period. And for the property and real estate company, they are do not publish in financial reports on the Indonesian Stock Exchange is in the 2018 until 2022 period. And the property and real estate sectors for the companies that publish complete final reports, financial reports consecutively during the 2018 until 2022 period. Property and real estate sectors company that have complete financial data in accordance with research variables. So for the next one is the descriptive statistical analysis, which shows the descriptive statisticals They are for the all variable including business risk, firm size, and risk management as independent variables and company value as the dependent variables. So for the next one is the descriptive statistical analysis. There are descriptive statistical testing in this research was carried out using eFuse software version 12, and the following are the results of descriptive statistical analysis on the sample as a whole. So in this table shows that the results of descriptive statistical analysis of the data collected by the researcher. So this data shows Tobinsky, which is one of the proxies used in this research to calculate the company value variable, which is also one of the dependent variables in this research. And above the data above shows that the company value using the Tobinsky proxy has a mean or average value of 1.049881, followed by a standard deviation value of 1.09659. Then it can be seen based on the table above that the minimum value for the Tobinsky variable is 0.309859. And this value was obtained from one of the PT, one of the company, it names Bekasi Asri Pemula, precisely in 2020. And this can be said to be proof of the lack of the investor trust in the company. The maximum value of the company Tobinsky variable based on this table above is 7.961676, which was obtained from one of the company, which PT Agung Semesta Sejahtera, and this maximum value can be seen in 2018. This research can be seen from the closing share price of this company, which has increased very significantly from the price from 780 per share in 2017 to 880 per share in 2018. So based on this table also, the biggest one for all the variables depends on dependent and independent variables. It's EPS. There are the mean for the EPS is in the total 150 observation is 53.85790, which is the biggest one in all variables for this thesis, including from the standard deviation, minimum and maximum. And the next one for the business risk is based on this data has been collected. The average for the business risk variable or BR1 is obtained at 0.038763 with a standard deviation value of 0.082825. And the business risk variables gets a minimum value of negative 0.35. This value was obtained from one of the company in 2022. And also this result can be seen from the company net profit that year, which experienced a significant loss compared to the previous year. Meanwhile, the maximum value of the business risk variable had value of 0.65 that obtained in 2018 by company Bima Sakti Pertiwi, and the illustrated that company experienced in the opposite situation to the previous company, where the total profit in that year that company experienced got an increase in level on the net profit value. And also in the next independent variable for the firm size, it has the average value of 22.04173 with a total standard deviation value of 1.5, with the minimum value obtained for the variable is 20.896, and this value was obtained from one of the company in 2018. And this result also, the company assets, which in that year was still not very large. This, of course, causes the size of the company become small that year. And meanwhile, the maximum value obtained for this variable it was 25.9, which was obtained in 2018, and this result can be seen from the fact that companies tend to have quite large level of total asset value on year. And for the final independent variables, which for this research management is proxies by ARM, with this result, the average is 0.6 with the standard deviation value of 0.099931, and the maximum value obtained by this variable is 0.73, and this value was obtained in 2021. But meanwhile, the minimum value obtained was 0.31, obtained by RDTX in 2018. All the results in the table above are obtained in accordance with all sample data collected, with a total number of observation is 150. So for the next one is, for the next one is data result that includes the regression model selected, classics assumption test, multicollinearity test, heteroscedasticity test, and panel data regression. So for the selection for the panel data regression models, the selection test is of course carried out with the aim of selecting the best model that will be used to analyze panel data. After testing to select the best model to be used, the result were obtained as shown in the following table. So for the table above, the result selecting panel data regression. Based on the data that can be seen in the table above, the result of the model using the company value variable with the Tobin skew proxy are used for the selected model, namely REM, and for the results of the Chow test show a figure of 0.0007, which is certainly smaller than the significant level alpha 0.05. This indicates that the best model between CEM and FEM is the FEM model. And the next is the Hausman test must be run, which aims to compare the best model between FEM and REM. The result of the Hausman test show a value of 0.2334, which shows a result that is greater than the significant value alpha 0.05. So therefore, the best model between FEM or REM, the last test that must be carried out is the long-range multiplier test, and the result of the long-range multiplier test show a value of 0.0130, which is smaller than the significant value of alpha 0.05, and thus the best model in the research model that use a proxy for the firm value variable with Tobin's Q is the RAM model. Then for the next one, the result for the next one, the result for the panel data regression in a selected that use with EPS, the result of selecting data model for the company value variable with the EPS proxy give a different result to the company value variable proxy with the Tobin's Q. Where for the EPS proxy, the selected model is the CM model. The results of the child test show figure of 0.2275, where this value means it is greater than the significant level of alpha 0.05. This indicates that the best model between CEM and FEM is the CEM model. So with the results selected with the best model being the CEM model, the Hausman test is no longer necessary because the Cho test has shown CEM as the selected model. And next, the test was continued directly with the long-range multiplier test. The aim of which was to compare for the CM and the RAM models. The results of the long-range multiplier test show a value of 0.9537, which of course is a value greater than the significance level alpha 0.05. Therefore, the best model in the research model that use a proxy for the company value variable with EPS is the CM model. So the next one is the multicollinearity test result, and the multicollinearity test aims to test whether the regression model finds a strong correlation between the independent variables. This test is based on the tolerance value and VIF, variance inflation factors, the value used to indicate the presence of symptoms of multicollinearity test is a VIF value which has to be bigger than 10. As shown in this table, the table above shows that the VIF value for all independent variables used is less than a 10. The mean or the average VIF is 1.037577, which is less than the upper limit value of a 10. And the value of 1 divided by VIF is smaller than 0.1. Based on this result, it can be concluded that the regression model doesn't have a symptoms of multicollinearity. So the next one is the heteroscedasticity test result. The heteroscedasticity test used in this research use a Bruce-Pagan-Godfrey method. The following are the result of heteroscedasticity testing in this research. As shown based on the figure above, the results show that the value of probability of chi-square is 0.3517, which bigger than 0.05. So it can be concluded that the regression model in this study uses a heteroscedasticity test using the Bruce-Pagan-Godfrey method which means the data is homoscedastic. So this research model is free from symptoms of heteroscedasticity. So for the next one is the panel data regression on equation. The following are the results of the data panel data regression equation from this research is the explanation as is follows. As the model 1 shows the results of the constant value in the regression equation is 1.261151, which means that its values of all independent variables are constant. Then the Tobinsky value is 1.261151. And the coefficient of business risk variable is 0.637027, which means that every time business risk increase by 1 unit, by Tobinsky value will decrease by 0.63027. The coefficient of the firm size variable is negative at 0.035703, which means that every time the firm size increase by 1 unit, the Tobinsky value will decrease. Furthermore, the risk management variable has a positive value of 2.589170. If there is an increase of 1 unit, the Tobinsky value will increase by 2.4. So for the next model with the EPS model shows that the data constant value in the regression equation is 129.8961, which means that if the value of all independent variable are constant, then the EPS value is like 129.8961. The coefficient for the business risk variable is 1792.268, which means that every time business risk increase by 1, the EPS value will increase. And the coefficient of the firm size variable is negative at 8.150092, which can mean that every time the firm size increase by 1 unit, the EPS value will decrease. Furthermore, the risk management variable has a positive value of 61.22859. If there is an increases from the risk management by 1 unit, the EPS will increase by 61.22859. So the next one is the hypothesis test result, which include the t-test result and the coefficient of determination test results. So for the Tobinsky, there are the result, the result for the Tobinsky. So the result of the t-test are evaluated by considering the predetermined probability in significant level. In the significant value determined in this research is 5%. So if the probability value is is lower than 0.05, then it can be concluded that independent variable has a significant impact on the dependent variable. So as you can see in the Tobinsky table, that business risk and firm size are not significant to company value when viewed by the Tobinsky proxy. This is this is because the probability value of the business risk get result is 0.5732, which is larger than the alpha 0.05. And the firm size also like that with the probability value of 0.4673, which is bigger than alpha 0.05. But however, there are different results on the risk management variable. This variable gets significant result on the company value, where if seen based on the probability value, the risk management variable gets a value of 0.0283, which means the risk management variable has an effect on the company value, which proceed with Tobin skip. Well, the next one, it can be seen from the table. Result from the model 2 using the EPS proxy, where based on this result, it can be seen that the firm size and risk management variables are good results. They are not significant for the company value. When viewed using the proxies EPS, this is because the probability values of the firm size variable gets result 0.7314. Then for the risk management variable, we get a probability value of 0.09053. But however, there are different results on the business risk variable. This variable gets significant result on company value, where it can be seen on the probability value that business risk variable gets a value of 0.001, which means that the business risk variable has an effect on the company value that proceed with EPS. The next one is the discussion, the influence of business risk on company value. Based on the result of the tests that have been carried out, the results of this research show that business risk has an effect on the company value. But however, it is necessary to look again based on the test result above. Business risk has a positive effect on the company value when using the EPS proxies, while business risk has no effect on the company values as a proxies by Tobin's cube. These results show that the higher the company business risk value, the higher the company value. The results of this research prove that investors are more interested in investing in the companies that have the highest of business risk. And the influence of firm size on the company value. Based on this research, the tests of that have been carried out previously in the study company size or firm size has no effect on company value. This shows that no matter how much assets on a company owns, it cannot increase or decrease the value of the company. The results of this research are the same as the research conducted by Fadilah and Sukminingrum in 2022. In 2020, in their research, also starting the company size has no influence on company value, as Chahya et al. Also obtained in the same result as this research, namely that company size has no effect on company value, but however, this is in contrast to the research of the research by Ismajuni at 2018. And the influence of risk management on the company value. Based on the results of this research, risk management has an influence on the company value. These results were obtained from testing the effect of risk management on company value using the Tobin's cube proxies. The results of this research are supported by other researchers, which found the name results of Tianta and Graha, Ayunda, and Devi. This research also states that risk management has a positive impact on company value. That risk management, because of good ARM or enterprise risk management, disclosure is a disclosure that contains content about the risk faced by the company. The company responds to this risk phase and the risk assessment and supervision carried out by company management in overcoming risk. And the last one is the chapter 5. In the closing, there are conclusions, the implication, which means has a theoretical implications and practical implications, and research of limitation. For the conclusions, this research aims to examine the influence of business risk from size and risk management on the value of the property and real estate sectors company list on the Indonesia Stock Exchange for the 2018 until 2022 period. The data used in this research is quantitative data. The data is sourced based on the secondary data, namely annual reports published by each company. The sample of this study consists of 30 companies with a total of 150 observations. In this research, the results show that the business risk variable had a positive effect on company value as proxied by EPS. And the theoretical implication and practical implication. The results of this research can be enriched as signal theory by providing empirical evidence which states that the higher the level of business risk, it is a signal the company value will increase, and the higher the implementation of company risk management, then it is a signal that company value will increase. This research can provide information or as a reference for the property and real estate sector's company list on the Indonesian Stock Exchange. Based on the results of this research, companies can pay more attention to the level of business risk and the implementation of risk management in the company. So paying attention to these two things is expected to have a positive impact on company value. And the research limitations results in conducting this research, researchers are encountered several limitations, which are expected to be overcome in the future research. This research only covers several property and real estate in subsector company listed on Indonesian Stock Exchange. And this research also cannot explain how independent variable influence company value in companies in other industrial sectors, because this research uses secondary data. It is possible for errors to occur in data entry and observation data. Despite all the limitation of this research, it is hoped that future research can analyze other independent variables that are considered to influence the value of company. So thank you for today, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.